I mean, I don't know if I guess they're characteristics that should probably already be there, and
Mm-hmm.
then, yeah, as you say, develop them over your time in the program.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, um, curiosity
Mm-hmm.
is really important.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be interested in things around you.
Mm-hmm.
I think the other thing is a desire to share what you find then with other people.
Yeah.
To want
Mm-hmm.
to be involved in that kind of give and take and it is really more of a give and take now. Instead
Yeah.
of saying to the world, like, here's what I found, here's what I learned,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think?
Mm-hmm.
Or what can you add to that?
Yeah.
And then the last part I think too is creativity, like the desire to be able to, or the ability and interest in communicating whatever stories it is you're reporting on in a way that's engaging and interesting to someone else. Like pretty sort of basic things, right?
Mm-hmm.
We all have those things kind of innate in us. Like
Mm-hmm.
we're all to some extent, we all have some outlet of creativity.
Mm-hmm.
We're all curious about some things, right? Like we have some level of curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the part about sort of wanting to share with people, again, I think that's like a pretty common thing, even if we're not the most outgoing person, which I wasn't, I'm not, but even if you're not the most outgoing person, we still want to share things, that we see, that we hear, that have happened to us, or, that we find interesting with other people, and we want to sort of do that in a way that's compelling or engaging, right?
Yeah.
Like even if you're just sitting down with like a friend or a family member, you're like, oh my god, guess what happened to me? Like on some level, that's like kind of the most basic form of, that's like the building blocks for becoming a journalist.
Yeah.
Is sort of trying to, tell a story in a compelling way, except instead of it being one-to-one over a text message or a conversation, it's like one to more than one. I think one of the things that worked for me was to realize that it's not about you, and that it's about the story or the information that you're trying to communicate, right? And if you care enough about that, for whatever reason, whether it's the job that you have to do that day, or it's a story or a topic that you care about a lot, then that can help you to sort of get over that maybe discomfort you have about sort of feeling like, why am I the person, why is it my story, why am I standing in front of the camera, why is it my voice on well, not tape, but on the file, why is it me, or how are people going to react to me, and say, I need to get past that because I want people to hear this story that people have told me, and I want to convey this to people, and so, that's more important than whether I'm going to feel uncomfortable with like people listening to me or reading my work or watching my work, and it's not easy to get over necessarily, but I feel like you can do that if you think of it that way. It's like you're just sort of like the vessel, the conduit for the information, and it's not really and shouldn't be about you. I'd be shy and nervous. I mean, to the extent that like when I got it hired my first job while I was still in journalism school, and professors were kind of like, really? He's so quiet, like he's gonna have to talk to people, and he's gonna have to, like, really he's gonna do that. Like he's like nice and smart, but I don't know. So yeah, I mean, I was and am, although probably not to the same extent anymore, kind of shy or hesitant. The other thing I found is I used that, I tried to use that to sort of my advantage.
Yeah.
Like I would call people and, or talk to people for an interview. And there would be, I didn't, some people when they're interviewing or talking to people, they kind of need to sort of fill all the gaps, right? So someone pauses for a second, you jump in, you're like, okay, here's the next question, or to try to keep them talking. But I realized that sometimes a pause, not a long pause, but a little pause, could help people to sort of open up. Also, being professional, but sort of quiet and not sort of loud and overbearing, can also make people sort of feel more comfortable. Like if it can, I think, it can feel more like, less like I'm on the phone or I'm having a conversation with the reporter, but I'm just having like a chat with them.
Yeah.
So I think there are ways that you can use that to your advantage, or at least figure out how to not make it a disadvantage. And it shouldn't be. I mean, journalism at its core is, and the interviewing process and even the communication process is a very sort of human thing. We tend to forget that, and there's all different types of people with all different types of personalities who do the work and do it well. And it's not really it shouldn't be and isn't an impediment. Well, I mean, not every. I think the biggest way that people stand out in newsrooms, typically, in a good way, is by doing good, reliable, competent, better than competent work. Being hardworking, being easy to get along with within like the newsroom, like the other people that you're working with.
Yeah.
That's as much of a factor as anything. If you can do the work, if you can, if you fit in well with the other people that you're working with, they like working with you. They feel like they can work with you on projects, because it is. I think the one thing that sometimes gets forgotten a bit, and maybe we don't do a good job of explaining it or replicating that in school, is that journalism is always very collaborative, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're doing, I know you guys are, students often just like doing group projects.
Yeah.
But even if you're writing a story in the newsroom, like it's going to go through layers of editors. There's going to be an editor who either approves it or assigns it. There are going to be people who then edit the copy and have questions and suggestions about it. You might work with photographers. Like there's all these people that are involved in the process. So it is something, that skill of just kind of getting along and working well with others, is more important, I would say, than like standing out.
No, yeah. You should
Prepare
do.
for the interview.
Yeah.
I would say think, and maybe this is obvious, but think hard about like the types of place you want to work.
Yeah.
Most of the journalism internships are unpaid, right?
Yeah.
So, it's a big sacrifice in terms of time and sort of opportunity costs that you might otherwise spend that time, working and getting paid for your work. So try to think of the place or the type of place that you would want to go to, like in an ideal world, and aim for that. And then realize, and then see if that is actually the sort of place that you think you want to end up. And there's nothing wrong with finding out. There's lots of students we've had who get their dream internship. They're like, I've always dreamt of going to place X. And they get there, and then they come back after 6 weeks, and they're like all confused. And they're like, I don't think I like it. I thought I wanted to work there for 6 years. Like, since I was in grade 10, I knew that I wanted to work there. I thought I knew. And then I actually got in there, and like, it's not for me. And I'm like, that's good. Like, at least you only have to go for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Now you can figure out like where you want to go next. So thinking about where it is you